I have to say, look, Glastonbury on the Pyramid stage, not once but twice, is 2 high points in the same place. It is one of those dreams that you have as a musician. It was also the first festival I ever went to as a punter, and never could have imagined that I'd be on the main stage. It really is a very special place. There's a special magic, a special energy to Glastonbury. I'm Sister Bliss from Faithless. I play keyboards, I write music, I also DJ, and I've been doing this for about 30 years now, and yeah, had a pretty good life in music. Make music for TV and film, theatre as well, so I have diversified over the years and had some amazing opportunities in the world of music and creativity. It's been a real pleasure being part of Industry Week at Confetti here. It's an amazing lineup, all sorts of really interesting artists and industry professionals. Had a great Q&A with Nick Hawkes, who manages Liam Howlett from Prodigy, amongst others, and has been in the music business for 4 years as a manager, and his capacity working at labels and at the kind of coalface in electronic music. So we had a really, really good chat and a great Q&A, some really good questions from the audience today as well. One of the questions that stood out from the audience was about burnout. I think it's become a real conversation now in the creative industries about mental health, which it certainly wasn't when I started. You either kind of carry on and, you know, end up in rehab or have a nervous breakdown, or you weather it quite well. I wouldn't say there was much of a conversation going on when I started making music, and there were probably a lot of casualties along the way. I mean, rock and roll, it was ever thus, but I think especially in electronic music in the modern world, it's become a lot more of a conversation that needs to be had. So that was an interesting question, because that's not something we touched on in the interview.
Brilliant.
I think any advice would be for any women creatives is you just got to keep on doing it, you know, keep on working hard. Make yourself visible, make a noise, don't shrink yourself, don't be apologetic about your art, take it from inside, all your thoughts and feelings. There's space for it, you know, whether it's political or personal. I believe that there's space for all of that in music and the creative industries. I really do, and that's what excites me the most, when people really go deep inside themselves and bring out the things that are perhaps raw or painful about the life that they're living in the here and now. That's what great art and music is. It connects us to each other, you know. So don't be afraid, you know, or if you are feeling afraid, feel the fear and do it anyway. There's a lot of other women out there doing amazing creative work, and take inspiration from them too, just as I did when I started out. For me, I always loved music, so I would go down the artist road, people like Kate Bush, Bjork, you know, unapologetically themselves, Grace Jones, you know, and actual artists, people like Frida Kahlo. I loved her story. She's the wife of Diego Rivera, a Mexican artist. That's in the visual arts in particular. But in music, there are so many great trailblazers. And obviously in the world of DJing, so I really looked up to a female DJ called Smoking Joe, quite a few other ones. I just was in awe of her skills and thought she was amazing. And I suppose when you see other people doing something, it awakens that in yourself and think, well, if they look like that and they're also a woman or whatever it is, I can do that too. So I think it's very important to have visibility in the arts across the board, male, female, binary, non-binary, genders, races, and class, especially in this country. It's very, very important. Otherwise you never believe it's possible if you don't see someone that represents you up there doing it. I think a really crucial piece of advice is just to keep on going, not to give up. Keep creating, you know. Some people get very hung up and sort of can only do one thing, and then if that one thing doesn't work, they just give up immediately. You have to have a bit of resilience and, you know, tenaciousness to have any sort of career in the arts, because it is a tough industry, that's for sure. I think understanding the business side of the industry is pretty important for an artist, because it helps them with their own autonomy, and then they will also understand what they're signing if they ever do get into signing a deal. And obviously with the advent of the internet, a lot of people aren't even signing to record labels, they're putting their own music out themselves. So it really helps to have an understanding of the business side of that, and marketing. You know, what proportion of monies you might receive from various different platforms, and what contracts you might enter into as an artist. It's hard because on the one hand, actually when you're an artist, you just want to focus on the making of the art. But I would say having some business knowledge it's really, really helpful. It just empowers you, I think. So I'd say it's a really excellent thing to have that kind of wisdom at your fingertips. You have to have creative industries and events for people to come to so they understand what's possible. It's so hard to know what to do as a musician or a creative in a particular climate. It's not really encouraged in schools. It's very hit and miss, the kind of education you get. It seems, especially government policy, doesn't seem to be about encouraging the arts, and places like Confetti show people what's possible and get the best people in the industry to kind of show what a real life lived in the creative industries looks like. And that's just absolutely invaluable. And when I started out, there weren't, well, I have to say my career wasn't aspirational. Dance music was seen as a sort of poor cousin to Indian rock music. It wasn't something that had a kind of career path. We were all feeling our way in the dark, quite honestly. It was very entrepreneurial. It was quite DIY. And now it's aspirational. Now you can go to DJ school, learn to be a producer. And of course, everything's become scaled down that you can have a studio in a laptop. So that's also a game changer. It really democratises the whole industry. And especially in electronic music, it's drawn a lot of people to make that kind of music because it's a lot more accessible and easy to make with just a laptop. You don't even need to learn an instrument particularly. So that's an exciting development. But at the same time, I feel that music is really quite devalued in education from primary school upwards, and it's a tragedy. You're missing out on such amazing potential in the young people, especially in the UK. There is really the most amazing talent in this country, and we need as many forums as possible for people to come and find out about it or see themselves in a cohort who are perhaps at college or at school doing music and not think, oh, that's all about learning the violin, that's not for me. You know, there's so much more beyond that to be discovered. So yeah, places like Confetti are really important. It's very aspirational to know that you could, in your city, go to a place like Confetti and learn how to make and produce your own music and put it out into the world. What a buzz. London's my hometown, and if Confetti is going to open in London, there's absolutely, I'd be there with bells on, because I think, you know, what you're offering is really important, and you've got some of the most promising musicians and artists coming through London, and it's brilliant for them to have that opportunity to develop their skill set. And I've lived and breathed this industry for a long time, and obviously any kind of knowledge and experience I can bring to the table, it's something I really enjoy doing. You know, bringing up the next generation, it keeps me fresh, and I really hope that I've got something worth telling them about from my own experiences, however different they may be. So I do recommend for anyone who does start working or going on a course in London in the creative industries, there is just so much to see and do. And music in particular is not just about music. Music has a visual component, you know, designing sleeves, inspiration. What I would say to anyone doing music, apart from collaborate with the people that you meet there, because it's such a fertile ground in all different musical areas, is get out and see things in the city, art, installations, cinema, architecture, exhibitions. There's a lot of stuff that is free, and it will feed you, and it will feed your creativity and your mind, and that is very important. you've got White Cube around the corner and Shoreditch, and you know, this tech world is nearby, so you've got a real fertile area for people to start getting involved with youthful tech companies who may need music or run viral campaigns. There's a lot of hookups to be had with companies in the area. There's many creatives in that sort of Shoreditch, Whitechapel area. You know, Whitechapel is as good as anywhere, but I mean, really, what is near there is, as I said, tech, Shoreditch roundabout, and a lot of youth and energy and ideas, and they all often need music. Games developers, loads of them in Shoreditch.